had discussions around the girl not going to school, the girl doing housework. What about the boys? We've had notions that in society growing up, a man is supposed to be strong. A man is not supposed to cry. When you cry, you're deemed weak. Yeah? So how do those notions, how do they affect our advancement towards gender equality?
You know, when they say men don't cry, it hurts me. Because, yeah, it really hurts me because men also cry. It's just that they know where they cry from, and maybe the problem is that where they cry from, they're always not heard. So you go and cry alone and you not die with your problems alone, which is not good because we say that females cry because they are weak. That's what they say. But I don't think it's a sign of weakness or it's a symbol of weakness, because when you cry out, sometimes when you cry out, you get to be relieved psychologically and emotionally, and even you may get support. You know, we've seen people who have cried and you cry out loud and you get helped and they have advanced in life. But if a man does not cry, the crying may not be tears, but even saying out something. You have a problem, you say it out. I have maybe an issue in my home. My woman beat me up maybe sometime and all that. You can talk to someone about it. Don't die alone. And the moment you don't talk about it, it will keep haunting you, and it will affect you in a long run. It can affect you psychologically. It can also affect you financially or economically, because if I was beaten at home last night, then that means probably I couldn't have come to the podcast. Maybe I have a bruise somewhere and I want to appear before the camera. So maybe I could have decided to stay home and tell you, no, I'm not feeling well, but there is something that is hurting. So that means it is even limiting me to share, my information, to meet people, to network and all that. So at the end of it all, I'm losing indirectly, but I don't know. And I have a feeling that crying out, whether tears or what, but it is hopeful, because that's why you see always women are always happy, because when they get something that affects them, they will talk to someone about it. And by talking to someone, you're getting help, you're getting advice. So it's upon you to choose which advice is good, and but as men, I think it's high time for us to come out and have some people to talk to. They could be females or males, just get someone you can talk to about your issues. Don't cry, alone in bed, and then even hide yourself, keep silent. Don't die in silence.
Okay. Mr. Mgera, do you have something to add? Men don't cry.
Mine, as I have always reiterated, these are what? Yes, we also grew up in communities, and our parents could tell you omusajja takaaba, but there is a way it, just like my colleague has said, there is a way it limits you from expression, that when you have something that is torturing you, you won't express out that feeling, and you'll be limited. So these are just notions that we should fight and get rid of them from our communities.
And just to add on from Mr. Mgera's submission, sometimes we talk evil, maybe against our cultures, unknowingly. Because if you say that in Buganda they saw omusajja takaaba, it means that a man is not supposed to cry, But of course, when we were growing up, they used to tell us that omusajja talina kaaba. But I think the challenge was that they used not to explain to us why they said that statement, And I have a feeling that it's because they said that omusajja takaaba, or a man is not supposed to cry, just to enable you grow up strong as a man, You have to be strong, like you shouldn't cry. But not that you shouldn't cry tears, But there are some things you need to be strong as a man. The only problem is they didn't say that to the females or to the girls. They're just silent about that crying.
This is just direct. When they say that a man does not cry, it is automatically that they are okaying the crying over what? Over women. And these are things that we should what? We should just fight as stakeholders, as gatekeepers, community gatekeepers. We should see them come to an end, because when you say that omusajja takaba, meaning that a woman will just cry all the time and they will be compromised in any way or the other.
And realize that the number of suicide cases are more among the males than females, because males die with their problems. They feel like, I shouldn't talk to someone about it, so let me just, commit suicide and leave this. I'll be ashamed, the society will look at me all the time. Yeah.
Okay. So Mr. Khan, you've heard all those. They say men have not really embraced the fight or the struggle towards gender equality. What are some of those beliefs you think that are holding the men back from coming up to also join the movement, the gender equality movement?
I think there is a notion or like a belief that if a woman is equal to a man, then somehow that's worse for a man. In a lot of the community level conversations that we had with FAO and with other partners here in Uganda, we found out that a lot of the community stakeholders and community leaders were afraid that we are not paying attention to the boys, that we were focusing on women and girls, rather than seeing this as an opportunity to empower women as alongside the boys, right? Because a lot of times in our society, without us even knowing, men are empowered, right? By sending them to schools, by encouraging them to be the breadwinners. These are all ways that a man is empowered economically and socially, because they're made the leaders of their house, even if they're younger than the woman in their house, right? So I think there was a point that Mr. Mugera said about how certain jobs are relegated for women, and certain, even though there is a project might have a gender equality quota, but within that project, there's always certain jobs that are given to women and certain jobs that are given to men. And I would like to reiterate that oftentimes this happens because women are relegated to jobs that pay less. And that is a key issue, right? It's not just they're culturally made to have less dominant jobs, but there's also pay associated with it. Women are by paying women less for the jobs that they do, men can create economic control over the woman. And there's some jobs that women are not even paid for, like unpaid housework or like childbearing, all the work that goes into recreating a society. Because if a woman woke up in the morning and she just stopped taking care of the house, the society would fall apart. So these are essential jobs to a society, yet women's labor is ignored, women's labor is unpaid, and oftentimes also underpaid. So I think all of those stuff have to be taken into account when we're talking about like the biases that men might hold against gender equality as well.
So what do you think should be done to bring the men on board so that they can also start, they join this our movement of gender equality?
I think one of the things is having these conversations is very important, ensuring that men are involved in these conversations, and there is the conversation is led with respect and dignity. That should be the starting point of that, and then you build on it, right? Conversations are important, but also encouraging men to understand that gender roles also harm them. Like my colleagues were saying here, gender roles are not ultimately always beneficial for men. Sometimes there's mental health problems that men face because of the gender roles. There's a lot of these familial pressures, societal pressures that men face that are often more like strengthened by the gender roles. So ultimately, having conversations, creating open spaces, creating safe spaces for men to talk about their feelings, and and just creating a more tolerant society. I would say it's not gonna be overnight, but I think you have to start somewhere.